Celebrations will be held tomorrow to mark the 175th anniversary of P&O, the oldest shipping company in the country. For most of their history, they've sailed from Dover, Tilbury and Southampton.
Well, tomorrow the Princess Royal, the Red Arrows and a record number of cruise ships will be in Southampton to mark the anniversary. In the first of a series of special reports, our transport correspondent, Mike Pearce, looks back at the company's history.
Today, P&O is a household name with ferries and ships taking people all over the world. But it started with a single boat, the William Fawcett, carrying mail to Spain and Portugal in 1837. The founders were Brodie McGee-Wilcox and Southampton MP Arthur Anderson. More government contracts followed, and within a few years the company were carrying mail, cargo and passengers all over the world.
These old paddle steamers, highly inefficient, billowing smoke apart from their sails and so forth, and that was really how the company started.
The company continued to grow with more than 1,000 ships and became a major employer at its main bases in Southampton, Dover and Tilbury.
It was to be a war in which Southampton was destined to play no small part.
2 world wars were to have a major impact. Ships were requisitioned, almost 300 were sunk with thousands of crew lost.
Again and again they struck.
These rare pictures are from the so-called golden era of the 1950s and 60s, when most people travelled by ship.
With the advent of the jet, and certainly the big jets that carried a lot of people transatlantic and then on down to Australia, we weren't required to carry a lot of people around the world, so we had to find something else to do with the ships. And someone had the very good idea of taking people on holiday.
Once again, war was to have a major impact. In 1982, P&O's Canberra was requisitioned to become a hospital ship for the Falklands. The crew included a group of women known as the Fearless 15. These are 2 of them from Brighton and Bexhill-on-Sea.
They were saying not to have the women on board because it was going to be in a war zone, and the company turned round and said no, the girls have volunteered, and the partnerships company, and the ship's going to be in no danger, it's going to be a hospital ship, and so they can go, so we went.
We were right in the middle of San Carlos water and we actually heard it all. It didn't sound like you'd expect guns to sound in like in a movie. It was more popping and lots of, it felt like puff bangs and things like that. But and it was all take cover, take cover.
And what was the homecoming like?
Very emotional, very emotional.
Very proud to have done it. I'm really, really pleased that I was there and that I was part of it.
The name P&O has had an association with the region since the day it started, and it's a brand that's certain to stay for many years to come.
Well, today a small team look after the P&O Heritage Collection. It's 25,000 items from ship models in China to a unique collection of photos and paintings charting 175 years of history, of course.
Well, the artefacts are put on display at exhibitions, but remarkably, many of them are displayed among the staff at offices in London. I went for an exclusive tour. Susie Cox, you are the lucky lady who's curator of the P&O Heritage Collection. Who owns it?
Well, today it's owned by DP World, who acquired P&O in 2006.
Over there, 2 of the founding fathers of P&O, Brodie McGee-Wilcox and Arthur Anderson. And McGee-Wilcox of particular interest to the Southampton area.
Absolutely. He was the MP for Southampton. He served for 2 terms and he was a very popular MP.
The collection contains models of ships, ancient and modern, Canberra here,
Absolutely. We have a collection of over 200 ship models.
But not just ships, is it? I mean, it's all sorts of other things as well.
We have everything from plates to portraits to films to furniture, photographs, murals.
What's that, for instance?
Well, this is a menu from P&O's Curator from 1859. So you would have been eating roast fillet veal, roast beef,
Wonderful.
And all of this served on board when you actually had no refrigeration, so you actually carried cattle to serve your beef.
And you'd eat the beef probably on a plate like that, because that's quite old, isn't it?
You would. This plate dates from the 1840s. You can see it's got Peninsula and Oriental Steam Navigation Company stamped on the bottom. And this you would have been eating in your dining room on board a paddle steamer.
Right. And you might have been sat on a chair that looked a bit like this.
Absolutely. This is a classic dining saloon chair.
And here, a very rare example of a phone.
It's a good point, though, isn't it, Fred? Because you don't normally end up with all that stuff in your
Ancient
office.
and modern.
And Mike joins us now. Modern, not ancient. So, if our viewers want to know more about everything we saw there, what can they do?
There's a website, poheritage.com. You can actually go on there and see the whole collection, most of the thousands of items they've got there. And on our own website as well, you'll see a special feature that catalogues the visit that Fred had to London last week to actually look through some of that collection. But it is pretty amazing, I have to say.
Well, you came with me. It was just incredible, isn't it? Huge event tomorrow. Tell us what's planned.
Yes, a very, very big day for P&O in Southampton. We will be seeing all 7 P&O cruises ships to begin with. Later in the day, we'll see the Red Arrows displaying. We'll see the Princess Royal. She'll be reviewing the fleet. HMS Dragon will lead all the ships out of port in the early evening. There'll be fireworks. I'm expecting, depending on the weather, I should say, tens of thousands of people literally lining the banks to see that event. And again, if you go to our website, there's a map there that shows you all the best vantage points between about 7 and 8 o'clock tomorrow night. One word of advice, Southampton is going to be very, very busy indeed tomorrow. The police advice is to leave lots of time. If you're catching a cruise ship or going to the city, leave plenty of time.
Brilliant.
Always a pleasure, Mike. Thank you very much indeed.